The subject I want to talk to you today is about sales and how you can improve your business by understanding the importance between two numbers that go on in your mind at different times, but ultimately should be the same number, but they never are, because often people don't connect the two together and make that connection. And we can unearth that connective link with one simple number, one simple piece of information that will connect it. And it could possibly change dramatically your results in the next job that comes your way that you start pricing up. That's how quick this can happen if we understand this. Sales is really important. I get sales. Every business needs sales. It's the lifeline of business. It's the oxygen to keep your business going. That's the sort of words you'll hear as you surf around on the internet and look up everything you want to understand about sales and the marketing that goes with it. But quite often the sales and marketing gurus or the coaches and mentors who are sales driven will have you believe that what we've got to think about is the speed. You're sitting here with an unhappy face and you want to get here with a happy face. How can we get you to go from point A to point B as fast as possible? And if we can do that, we can measure it with sales. Surely if you've got more sales, you'll be happier. And in order to do that, we've got this box of tricks, or we've got this program or process that if you plug this into your business in 90 days, you will have more sales. I get it. I get the importance of that, and I understand that. Sadly, I've worked with people who sell this type of service. I've had them as clients, and I've actually joined their program. And because I've got an accounting background, I've asked the questions and I've learned and understood that some of these people don't even make a profit. Some of these people are struggling to make a profit. Some of these people are struggling with their business. Their concept is great. They're great at generating sales, but underneath it, there's a problem with profit, which is the same problem we all have, which is generating the profit. The profit is the most important thing because that's the bit that you take home for you, for you and your family. Okay? You have the need for money to support you. It's called profit. In this example, net profit, after paying all your taxes, your personal tax, corporation tax, or however it's structured is irrelevant. You're just paying all your taxes, all your PAY, all your VATs, all paid. All your bills are paid. All your bills are paid without any fuss. The money's there, you pay the bills, you move on. You look after your team, you look after your staff. You provide amazing service and great quality to your clients. You produce amazing things that wows the world. You have a great sales and marketing process, this machine that makes all this happen. That generates you the profit. But here's where the gap is. The gap starts off over here. And I've indicated this with as simple as possible, a bit of, what you might consider to be a finance chart. We've got over here sales, we've got over here costs, and we've got over here profit. And what everybody will have you believe is that what you need to do is grow sales, make them more. That could be true. But what can sometimes happen is that, in contrast, profits either stagnate or, worse still, go backwards because of the need to drive sales. And that sales figure, that sales target that you're chasing, is something that you've got to actually calculate properly by producing, and I'm going to do that as a target, producing what we call an upside down profit and loss. Let's start with what you want. What do you want from the business? Put a number on it. What number do you want to look after your family? Is it 50, 100, 150, 250,000 a year, 500,000? It doesn't matter what the number is. You will know what that number is to support your lifestyle. Let's say that figure is 100,000. You will then know that attached to your business are certain costs and elements that need to run your business. You're going to have in there, let me switch that pen over, you're going to have, get the right colour there, you're going to have some costs. You're going to know what your costs are. And if we know what your costs are and we know what money you want out of the business, and we also include in our costs the taxes, the war chest, the variable costs and the fixed costs, we can break them down so that we know what our costs are. What we can end up with is a true sales figure at the bottom. And that sales figure is simply made up of the money we want plus all the costs that we know, which equals the sales figure. And that sales figure becomes our known target. It's great to have a sales target, but you've got to know that that sales target brings you back to the profit that you need. Now, here's where the gap is. If you know that figure, if you said, right, that figure's got to be £600,000, and that £600,000 is going to give me £100,000 worth of profit. Brilliant, brilliant, we've got to start. When you next go about your next job, and here's the thing that you can put into action. Your next job is customer comes to you and says, can you deliver XYZ? You say yes, and you price it up as that. Whatever that is, £10,000. And it's part of your £600,000 worth of sales target. When you do this, I want you to add to it the costs that match this sheet over here. And we put in these costs over here so that we know what the cost of doing that single job versus the sales price of that single job. And from that, you're going to calculate one very, very important number. And that is going to be the gross profit as a percentage. Now, you might price up a job for £10,000 and you might recognise that it costs you £1,000 to produce that job. You've got some labour costs, some external costs, all the rest of it. Your profit element on that is 40%. Okay? That's nothing more complicated than the mathematical calculation. So it's easy to calculate the percentage. What you need is the quotation figure for the client and you need the cost figure for the job. Now, the cost figure for the job might be a bit harder. You might have an hourly rate, you might have number of days, so it might be a day rate, or you might be buying in specific contractual services that you're going to do a markup on, etc. It doesn't really matter, but you should be able to identify that and identify that percentage. Because if you were to apply this to your upside down profit and loss, what you will find in the tool that we've given you is we've given you a little slider over here to calculate that percentage. And that percentage will drive that sales figure for you. And what will happen when you start looking at these two figures is if we said this job over here was for £10,000, and therefore by default we need to do 60 of these, that percentage on each of those jobs should be the same as that percentage as our upside down profit and loss. And here's what I'm discovering. I released this tool a little while ago and I gave it to some of our clients, and I've been talking it through with some of our clients. I'm using it even myself. And the more I give this away and the more that I talk to people about it to fill up these two sections in this tool, the upside down profit and loss at the top, and then go to the bottom and fill up a job card and put the sales and costs in for a single job, and look at the difference in the middle, the gap in the middle. One, people are realizing that their sales target is wrong based on what they think they can do. They can do these jobs for £10,000, but they can't do 60 of them. They don't have the capacity. So they're realizing that there's a shortfall in price, just in price, to meet that. Or quantity, I need to do more, which means I need to bring more staff in, which means I'm going to have more costs. So there's a gap in the thinking of the actual target, of even getting to the target. Then there's a secondary gap that keeps coming up. This gross profit percentage, I'm seeing slip. I'm seeing slip by 1%, 2%, 3%. And you might go, oh, what's 3%? 10 grand. Instead of getting 40%, I get 38. I get 37. That's near enough, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Until you apply it to the whole. And what we're seeing is the gap is real cash that is missing from the profit. Real cash that represents numbers as much as the entire tax bill. Real cash that represents a whole holiday you haven't gone on. Real cash that represents that new kitchen that you wanted to install, you can't have at home because you don't have the cash. And it turns into borrowings, a loan, a credit card, a bit more mortgage taken on the house. all of these shortfalls are being balanced elsewhere with borrowing or going without. And that's normal. And because it's so normal, everybody does it. And because everybody does it, none of us question it. And I want you to question. I want you to question this gross profit percentage figure. And I'm giving you the tool in my little profit reality calculator. I think what it was called then. In my profit reality calculator, which is a simple online tool that you just put the data in. It's just in your browser. I'm not keeping the data. It's only for you. You put it in your browser just to test it, to test your thinking, whether you understand the relationship between the sales target that you're chasing, the big number for the year, and pricing up that next job. Because what I don't want you to do is this. I don't want you to work harder and harder and harder, generate more and more sales, take on more and more costs, and end up going backwards. Like so many businesses I've seen over the past 35 years. In my career, looking after thousands of businesses, I have seen some businesses be very successful. Fortunately, they're a lot of our clients at the moment, and I love that. But sadly, and it breaks my heart when I see a husband and wife running their business, working hard, destroying their relationship and everything around them because they're running out of money. And I have a relationship with liquidators, and sadly some people will come to us and go, hey, I need some help, and I go, great, liquidator, because that's the only way we can help you get out of the mess that you've created. It's too late, and I want you to prevent from even getting in the mess. Even if, and here's what the upside of this is, if you understand these figures and you build this and you say, well, do you know what, instead of my target being over there, maybe my target isn't quite as high as I thought it needed to be, because at the same time, I've managed to control my costs, and therefore I can increase my profit by being more profitable, by being more efficient, by actually thinking about the price that I'm charging next and charging the right price that I'm due. I explained this to a client a little while back, I think about 3 months ago. They were in the process of quoting a job, and the job was going in for about £30,000. We did this exercise before they'd finished their quotation. They went, well, that's a £30,000 job. We kind of used it as an example. How did you get to that? And the 30,000, right? And we turned it into a £76,000 sale. Same job. We priced it from 30 to 70 because we said it's got to be that. It's got to be 76 for that figure to work to match your goals. It's got to be 76. And they were like, the client is never going to say yes to this. They submitted the quotation. It was accepted within minutes. They sent it by email. It came back. Thumbs up, brilliant, get on with it. When can we start? It was a major shock for the client to realize that the price you're setting here on your quotation is restrained by your own thinking, your own inability, because somewhere in amongst it, you're thinking about the customer and what they're prepared to pay, and it's not connecting with what you actually must do. It's not you must do to achieve the lifestyle that you're intending to get from this business. Otherwise, the alternative is work your ass off, have less money, go further into debt, and ultimately end up being bloody unhappy. And that's what we want to try and avoid. So our business is all about helping you make more money and at the same time have an easier life, a much easier life doing this. And I promise you, if you get your quotations or your estimates right for your clients and you get your billing right at the right percentages, you will actually attract better quality clients, which means you'll have a better service and a better relationship to be able to offer your client, and you'll be able to actually enjoy running your business. There's a whole bunch of stuff around the philosophy of that I'll perhaps cover in another video. But for now, what I want you to do is think about what I've been saying here. And I've done this deliberately on the whiteboard to try and explain my thinking of why it's really important. And there's a few other videos in the series here where I'm doing some screen demonstrations just to show you how easy the tool is. But log into the little link here, give us your email address, and we'll just give you access to the system straight away. And you can log into as many times as you want to and play with it as many times as you want to. And just test your thinking. If you have any questions about this, if you do run it and you have some aha moments, come back, put them in the comments here. Come and tell me what you're learning from this or what you don't understand. And if necessary, in the help screen, you'll find access to our website. You can book yourself in for a call. We'll discuss it and see if we can help you from there. Anyway, good luck. See you in the next video.